Right, welcome to Brain Fog Month. I am chatting with Inna Duckworth. Inna, do you want to just tell us a little bit about how you work and what you do, and then we'll talk about brain fog?
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm a medical herbalist. So in my work, I combine science. I've got a degree in herbal medicine with distinction. I combine traditions because I've learned various traditional healing systems, and I combine intuition. So when it's like down to my understanding what's happening with the person. Topic of this month is brain fog. Now, I'll probably go science way here, okay? Because there's a lot of misunderstanding about things linked with brain fog, and I'd like to go there. The reason I can go science is because I've done a course with a Harvard professor that is Karasian, and he does a lot of work on brain health.
Oh, brilliant.
And like, okay, let me shock. If anyone has got a brain fog, it is a sign of inflammation in the brain. Okay, it's a low-grade chronic inflammation of the brain, and the reason is because brain doesn't have pain receptors. Okay, it cannot tell you I'm hurt. What it does have is a so-called glymphatic system, okay, glymphatic. This is a lymphatic system of the brain. And if this lymphatic system of the brain is not working properly and the toxins are not cleared from the brain, you get brain fog, okay? And how does the toxins get to the brain? Well, it's a systemic circulation, okay? And we have got, so everything that circulates everywhere, the only thing we have got is called blood-brain barrier, BBB. But this blood-brain barrier, the concept of leaky gut, which probably everyone knows about now, should be, according to Dr. Karasian, which otherwise I wouldn't have been quoting him. He came up with the concept of leaky membranes, okay? So everything that is a membrane can be leaky. Basically, he's talking about even leaky sort of epithelial in the vagina, okay? He's talking about leaky lungs, which is quite common in various toxic mold conditions and stuff like that. And he's talking about leaky brain. So this glymphatic system, when it starts when it starts not working properly, that's where the pores, if you like, opening and things that shouldn't come to the brain do get to the brain, okay? And yes, the way to activate this glymphatic system is to sleep. You frozen, Emily.
Oh,
okay, good. too much science. I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
The way to activate the yes. So basically, we have got sort of two layers supporting the brain. One is the blood-brain barrier, and the other one is this lymphatic tissue. This lymphatic tissue is actually here around the sort of back of the neck. Yeah. So sometimes it's actually very useful to massage it. You know, just literally like massage it, like literally what I'm doing now. Sometimes I like drawn to do that because we've got tension in the neck because we're sitting all the time by the computer. But this sort of thing is something to do with it. Like that way, I work with that. Okay, so basically the way to help this lymphatic system is to sleep. This is where our brain is clear. And the numbers are vary between 6 to 10 hours, how long you need to sleep for that to clear. But look, whatever you can get, just get it. You know? According again to Chinese clock, it's good to be in bed by 11. Okay? And well, whether it's possible or not, I don't know for somebody's personal circumstances. But just there is another concept about that. That's chronotyping. Chronotyping. If you really like, okay, the sort of bog standard thing, go to bed before 11. If you really understand, like, it's not working for me. Okay, I can't fall asleep before 11. It just isn't. Then try this. Google this chronotyping and look which chronotype is yours, which one resonates better, and just sort of see. There's 4 of them. They are named after the animal, so you can kind of connect with the archetype behind the animal and say, oh, that's how they do it. Oh, I can do it. So, but the sleep is paramount, okay? Sleep is not waste of time, all right? So just like that's the thing. If you cannot sleep, okay, if you cannot sleep, that's a different story here. This is then you need to start working in the morning, okay, to build up your sleep. And working in the morning would be so-called cortisol awakening response. It's massive scientific thing. Basically, when you wake up, the whole body tells you, okay, it's time to get up and run after the mammoth. Ooh, you've got a cortisol spike. Now, this cortisol spike is needed for you to actually kind of get together and go. Quite often, get so depleted, so tired, and everything that this cortisol spike doesn't happen. It's like when you wake up exhausted. There are tests. I mean, there's also like there's always like leading sort of practitioners, like in functional medicine, the global leaders. They say if you've got one or two symptoms, try to balance them, naturally. If you've got more like 3-4 symptoms, get a professional. If you've got everything happening, do testing. And there are tests. There's a beautiful test done by, it's called Dutch test. It includes cortisol awakening response, where you can actually see what is the state of your cortisol is, what the state of your cortisol is. Anyway, so to help with this sort of, we're still working on sleep. When you wake up, first thing you can do is have a cold shower. By having two things. One thing is look at the light, it's natural light, because is the only way to activate pineal gland that will start with making serotonin and then melatonin for sleeping is light. It's not a supplement. It's not something fancy. It's just light. And the other thing is to start having like a little bit of a shock to the system. Like when I started having a cold shower, I couldn't do it. I was, but the natural greed worked on me. I hate wasting water, and it takes 2 minutes for our shower to get from like 0 to like 38 degrees or whatever. And I thought, okay, I'll use this water on my feet. And by doing that, you gradually build up kind of capability to have a quick cold shower. Now, this quick cold shower will help you in 2 ways. First, it's stimulating glutathione, which is your best healing substance in your body. And second, it will help you with this cortisol, building up cortisol response. Nothing will happen quickly, okay? But if you stick with things like this, in a couple of weeks, you'll notice a difference. And we're getting back to sleep, okay? If you really think that you're not like brain fog is unbearable, okay, it's just like not unbearable. The thing that you can do yourself is try a very strong liposoluble curcumin. There are products out in the market there. I wouldn't name brands, just. But anyway, if you tried that for a month and it didn't work, it's probably time to. Because it's serious. The point I'm making is Dr. Karazian presents it, it's serious. Because as I said, the brain fog is part of this low-grade inflammation situation. And the other side of this situation, which is also kind of, it's all the same because it's all linked, is a story about dysglycemia. Dysglycemia is ultimately that your body is not balancing sugar properly. And it can go both ways. We're used to being dysglycemia where you crave sweets and your sweets and like all of that and too much. But what about the ladies who have like always been eating salad leaves and always like being hypoglycemic? They used to be like dancers, everyone who was supposed to be like that, they are always hypoglycemic. And that is just the other side, the mirror side of having hyperglycemia. When it comes to body, everything has to be in balance. We've got these narrow corridors of hormones matching each other and triggering and opening. Once you're outside of this corridor, it's either way. And what Dr. Karazian is saying again, that because I just like course now, So what he's saying is that either way, both of these parts will affect your brain barrier. That's like complex mechanisms he describes. And so that's why any kind of brain fogginess, that's like on the path to diabetes type 3, which is the degenerative brain conditions. Okay, so this is something to look out for with brain fog. Please ask me questions. I've exhausted my initial.
So, in terms of from your sort of your herbalist background, are there
Yeah.
any herbs that people can use to start to get themselves back in balance?
Yes, yes. The herb would be okay. Again, sleep. Just make sure you sleep. If you don't sleep, everything else is like secondary. Okay, so for sleeping, valerian, really strong valerian, like. But again, it's a bit of a like a ritual. Make sure you're off computer. Make sleep your priority, not just like a bypass that happens by itself. If it happens, that's fine. If it doesn't, make it your priority. Say, okay, I am going to work on it. You know, I don't know if you can like have a bath with Epsom salts, that's relaxing, you know, lavender around, valerian before bedtime, Californian poppy before bedtime. They're beautifully helping that way. The 5-HTP, which is a plant, it's a Griffonia, the surname, forgot the surname. So 5-HTP can be helpful that way as well. That's one thing. The other thing is the actual sort of brain. You know, rosemary, absolutely perfect for that. Rosemary can be a bit punchy, so maybe not too much. If you're just having a fresh twig of rosemary in your salad, you know, like, or you've infused oil, olive oil with rosemary, garlic, chili, that's your, and you apply it to your salads, that's your go-to, could be as well. Some of the products, I really like rosemary hydrosols, but you need to look for food grade hydrosols, because hydrosol is basically, it's like this something, the substance, aromatic water, substance from which essential oils are made, except they're not distilled. Everything like comes together, and you've got this all. It's like a finely brewed tea where you've got all the essential oils diluted in the water, and it's quite punchy, but it is not alcoholic. So that's really like, I advocate rosemary for brain fog. Now, if you need a more complex things, and turmeric, as I said, turmeric is liposomal turmeric, literally like quite high doses. If you really have brain fog, go for high doses. It's like strong capsules 3 times a day and for a couple of weeks, see how you do. Now, if you are into the sort of smoothie making and stuff, the best thing I've ever had myself personally is fresh turmeric root. In many of health food shops and stuff you can buy, or online you can buy organic fresh turmeric root. And I just like about that, like 8 grams or something like that. I weighed it out of curiosity. It's about 8 grams, and I just blend it with water. You can add it to smoothie, but I wanted to feel what it feels like. Okay, what it does, and I just made like a glass of this kind of orangey thing. And when you drink it every day for a week, oh my God, the thoughts, I've never had brighter thoughts in my life, honestly.
Wow.
Because it's so good, because it's fresh, it's natural. Now, you have to have turmeric with oil, but the reality is, if you eat around it, like for example, if I just had this drink and then I had avocado in my salad or something like that, that's your oil, you know, so you can don't hang on to that too much, you know, like just sort of. And the only problem is that everything will be orange, so just look after the surfaces you're using. But it's so much worth it, okay? Even my hubby, you know, but for me, I didn't strain it. I drank the whole thing with the bits because, you know, I thought I would try everything. For him, I strained it and he drank it. It's kind of very nice, very kind of, it's got a very beautiful, earthy, kind of saffrony taste. Saffron, by the way, saffron tea, couple of twigs of, you know, not twigs, they're little hair-like structures.
Yeah, little sort of strands, aren't
Callus, yeah, so if you put this couple into your drink, so good. It's just helping. It literally is for the brain. You know, most of the adaptogens work in that way. Like, because they're like brain opening. But with adaptogens, I'd be careful, because what happens is, like, we get depleted. Okay, let me, like, last metaphor probably. Okay, the storage of energy in our body, according to Chinese tradition, is kidney. Okay, it's like a battery. Okay, and what they're saying is, to replenish this battery, you need to go to nature, you need to meditate, qigong or yoga or some other energy kind of exercises, and sleep. Okay, again, we're back to sleep. But what happens today is that, and this reserve should last you all life, like literally. Like, you have to kind of balance it, pace it for yourself, how it works for you. You know, like, so. But what happens now in Western society is that we just burn. It's like your pension pot, and we burn it in a year. Okay. Oh, okay, good. It's gone. What do I do next? Now you take adaptogens and you kind of burn adaptogens. And I have, like, not only myself but my colleagues as well, we face adaptogen crush syndrome. If you start taking adaptogens, it's where you have to start resting. Okay? You're not taking adaptogens to carry on, like, having it large, you know. And the point is, I'm not saying don't have it nice and like beautiful for yourself, just prioritize, you know. Okay, so if most of your energy is spent on something like exhausting, partially pointless, and like not giving you any satisfaction, that's where you come back. You start thinking, what's happening? Look for a life coach. Look for somebody else who can help you with that. Prioritize, you know. I remember, like, I was trying to be a tiger mom and bring my two kids bilingual music instruments, sport and stuff, you know. That's like, you know, but like, and I exhausted everyone pretty quickly, you know. And it's like, okay, that's not happening. So what is happening? So that's the point about adaptogens. Try to pace it, you know. And if you're taking adaptogens, think about it like getting an overdraft when you've already got a loan in the bank. What are you going to do with it? You're buying time. How are you going to use it? Use it wisely, because, okay, if you've used ginseng, king of the adaptogens, if you've used ginseng for 6 months and you're exhausted, where are you going to go? What is next? Okay, it's time to stop, to rethink things.
Awesome.
Well, that's the answer.
I think we've covered so much there, Inna. That's been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for listening. God, I love talking. Call me again.
Thank you.